Welcome to Barenaked Money, the podcast where we strip down the complex world of finance to its bare essentials, with your hosts Josh Shellick and Colin White, portfolio managers with Barenaked Capital Management Inc.
All right, everybody, welcome. This is a very special, extra special edition of Barenaked Money. I'm here with Arthur and Andy from the Prisma Music Festival coming up in Powell River, British Columbia on the 18th, I believe, guys. And I guess I'm going to stop talking and turn it over to you guys to explain what this is and get the dates right, because I know I need to be there on the 18th, but I'm not sure what the whole dates of the festival are. So welcome and take it away.
Thank you, Colin. So tell me, what did you say is the title of your podcast?
Barenaked Money.
Barenaked Money. I thought I heard making money. I thought, hey, we are making music.
Well, there you go. No, making money, that would be good as well. Hey, Barenaked Money is actually musically, inspired as well. We named ourselves after the band Barenaked. So Barenaked Ladies was the name of the band that was the inspiration. So very musically inspired.
I see. Well, I have to disappoint you. I live under a classical rock, and I don't know any bands, I'm afraid. But maybe Andy, our development and publicity marketing director here on the call, knows about it. Andy?
As soon as you said Barenaked Ladies, I had that song "If I Had $1 Million" popped into my head, and I thought, what a good segue for a non-profit organization to be on a podcast.
That sounds great, Andy, indeed. And, talking about non-for-profit, I'll tell you, Colin, what we actually do at Prisma. The Prisma Festival, we founded in 2012. And since 2013, we had our first festival. We get about 80 students, this year actually 84 students from all over the world who do an audition to play in the orchestra. Hundreds of students apply, and we pick the best ones to form a symphony orchestra. And then we have about 25 guest artists from world's leading orchestras who gather here in Powell River to play together in chamber music ensembles and to coach the students to get ready for a career in orchestra performance.
Wow, that is a huge deal. Those are big numbers. And, how did you guys end up in Powell River? Like, what was the draw? What drew you there?
Well, I came to Powell River for the music 1 year, a long time ago in 2000, and there is so much music here. And actually, we had a pulp and paper mill that recently closed that really brought the money to this town and the workers to this town. And they had a philosophy that they would engage people, they would hire people who excelled in sports and music. And we really stand on that philosophy, and that's why there is so much support in this little paradise, where I would say that the mountains kiss the ocean. That this can happen with the full support of the city, of the regional district, of our own Klaamen nation, and then so many individuals. And Andy, you can talk more about support for this endeavor. I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah, I think there's an infectious energy, I think, in the music scene in Powell River. And like Arthur says, that sort of stands on the shoulders of years and years and years of basically planning the town around people with those sorts of skills and really investing in that early. And we're sort of still picking the fruits of that with events like Prisma and Catalmu and all of these organizations on the music end and on the other types of arts and culture as well. So that's been sort of a beautiful kind of infectious thing. And I mean, Arthur's a case in point, and I'm not going to tell his story for him, but he came as a guest, as a conductor, as one of the music groups that was brought here to perform. And kind of long story short, he never left. There was a place for someone with his skills and experiences here as well. And there's a point where you're now living there part time, Arthur, and sort of
Right.
a hands-on member of the community and creating these sorts of spaces for for people to be able to continue this legacy of arts and culture in town and kids and adults and people of all ages continuing to have those opportunities that were sort of put into place for 100 years ago when that mill's getting going.
Yeah, exactly. And for me, it is amazing to have this kind of opportunity to be part of a community like Powell River, yet travel the world to conduct orchestras. This combination is so sweet. And last night, for example, there was a violin group doing their performances, and Powell River now has their own amateur symphony orchestra because they heard Prisma Orchestra year after year, and people thought, let's get something going here. And now, so it has a ripple effect. And this is beautiful to see that and to be part of that.
Well, and it's fun for Bearcan to play its part. We're a returning sponsor. We got involved with you guys last year, and so it's interesting to see and learn more about the organization and begin to take part. And by taking part, I believe I am actually participating as a guest conductor on Wednesday. Is that, have I been told, is somebody lying to me on my team, or am I expected to come and do something?
Really?
No, we absolutely volunteered you to do
Ah,
to show up and do that. We've you alluded to the 18th earlier, and that's one of the almost 2.5 weeks that Prisma is running this year. The students who are coming here all over, from all over the world, they don't know each other when they arrive, but by the end of the first week, they're performing concerts at the full orchestra. So you're going to meet all of those students from about 15 different countries and almost 90 students. And they're, pre-professional musicians. They're kind of basically bridging the gap between their music training and the professional world. So we're trying to give them that last sort of jolt of knowledge and inspiration to send them out into the world and become members of these top symphonies or ensembles or instructors. So there is a conducting masterclass where our student conductors who are learning to do basically what Arthur does are going to show up and basically be able to drive the Ferrari for a few hours, the big orchestra, and we do that in front of an audience. And we thought there's a lot of parallels between trained professionals doing tasks and other people without that sort of training, and we sort of were looking at the parallels of somebody like me maybe handling their own finances uh, versus somebody like you handling them, right? And then we thought, well, okay, if Colin hasn't conducted an orchestra before, maybe that would be an interesting segue into somebody who's really, really good at something that's not that, trying that, and then sort of doubling back on let's leave the professionals to what they do best. So that's sort of how we ended up with this little plan with a twinkle in our eye to do a bit of an onstage collaboration. So you're going to meet the orchestra, you're going to try conducting them, and I think you'll surprise yourself in probably good ways and not so good ways, and it's going to be quite fun, I think. And Arthur, you're in good hands with him. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, we won't kill you. You have a great time. It's overwhelming, I can tell you, to conduct an orchestra and to hear that sound from so close up around you, really. How I always try to compare this when you have a painting, like let's say we look at the Night Watch of Rembrandt, this huge painting. I don't know if you've ever been in Amsterdam and have seen that painting like close up in real time. But the moment there's light, you can see it. It's there and it's alive. Music is different. Music you have to recreate every time. I can show you a score here. I have a very thick book here that is full of black little dots, and that is a symphony of Gustav Mahler that he wrote in 1906, and it's hugely complicated. Every note of this piece will only sound once during a concert. It cannot ever be recreated the same way. It only exists for that little moment and it's evaporated. And even though the symphony is over an hour, you cannot hold it. You cannot keep it. And this makes music so intriguing that it only exists for that little moment. And what we do as conductors and as musicians, we recreate that what the composer had in his mind and was able to put in the secret language on paper.
Yeah, it's interesting because I spent a lot of time in my life working with children, working with coaching at different levels, and it's always interesting to play even at the tiniest role in helping them discover the value of something and being there the first time that they become aware of their own abilities and or the complexities of what they're dealing with. So if I can play a really small part in making them all feel really good about themselves and how smart they are for a minute, that'll be a good time. As long as everybody's laughing with me, not at me, we'll have a great time.
We will. We will.
A good friend of mine has got an expression, and nobody pretends to be an underwater welder. There's certain things that amateurs just shouldn't do, and I think this would definitely go in the category of one of them. But if everybody's in a good mood, we'll have a good time, and give everybody a chuckle to begin. That maybe break the ice a little bit if anybody's nervous in the room and getting things underway. So more than looking forward to it.
Yeah. Every year we do a Prisma for Kids, and we have the house full of hundreds of children who are at the orchestra rehearsal, part of the Prisma for Kids program. And usually I have one or two young students, young kids, 12, 14, no, younger, 8, I don't know, sometimes 6, come up and conduct the orchestra. And it's so sweet. It's so nice. Now, yeah, you'll enjoy it.
I'll have a good time. And listen, I just want to make sure I'm coming at it with a ridiculous amount of respect. I mean, I can't carry a tune in a bucket, but I love all forms of music. I always have been a fan. And moreover, I completely respect people who are exceptionally good at what they do, who are gifted at what they do, and are passionate about what they do. And I think this will be a really interesting thing to be experiencing, like you say, up close and personal. What events are open to the public if there's people that are looking to partake of things? Are there things that people can just come and watch as part of the 2 week festival, or is that a possibility, or is this just strictly being run for the students who are showing up for the 2 weeks?
Andy, do you want to talk to that?
Yeah, we have so much for the public. So we're running from the 16th of June to the 28th of June, and there are concerts the 17th, 18th, 19th, 21st, and then we come at it again the following week. So they're evening concerts that are most of them are ticketed. Some of them are by donation. We have a concerto competition, which is really thrilling. Students from all over the world on various instruments are competing for the chance to, at the end of the festival, play a movement from a major concerto with the orchestra and the student conductors with them. So they're basically effectively featured soloists at the festival, and they get an invite to come back the following year on a full scholarship and show their stuff again. There are, every weekday during Prisma, including the master class that you're going to be making a cameo at. We also we have master classes, 2 of them a day, and also 2 limelight concerts, we call them, where our guest artists are going to play music outside of the orchestra repertoire. A lot of solo stuff. Our students, by the second week especially, they've all made friends. They've all found colleagues. They've all found people who enjoy some of the same musical and non-musical hobbies as them, and they've gotten together in practice rooms and they've started putting together groups. So you'll hear a lot of chamber music played by students who didn't know each other the week before, but in the second week they're spending a half an hour on the stage, playing quartets or something for the audience. So it's great. So every afternoon at Prisma of a weekday, you can come and for $5, spend the afternoon with us, see 2 master classes, 2 limelight concerts, and learn so much and enjoy so much and see everything, up close. And I think that's the key. The closer you get to Prisma, I think the more you fall in love with it. From the audience. I don't mean whether metaphorically. I mean, yeah, you could sit in the front row. You're probably going to have a really good time, but the closer you get to the action. So I'm really excited for you to be standing on the podium, because that's about as close you can get to that orchestra, and just to feel that sound come over you, and you're going to be hooked. The whole experience of being close to the orchestra, as an audience member, as a donor, as a musician, as a staff person, is just such a joy. And I, you saying you approach this with the utmost respect. I do too. This is like, I get paid to do this. This is amazing, right? To have this opportunity to be this close to the music and these people who make it, who are so incredibly talented and have picked this art form that it's not always an easy road, and you have to love it, I think, to make a career out of it. And these people really do. They put their heart and soul into it, and it shows. And it's kind of hard not to fall in love with that. Really, it's really it just every 2 weeks, as a summer when we do Prisma, it really affects all of us, and we keep coming back for more, and I think you will too.
Yeah, Andy, well said. And I think that you can compare it really with top sport, being a top musician. It is really the discipline is the same, the investment is the same. But what is really so cool about music is that it connects people. This is a form of communications that we have developed over as humanity over a long, long period. In the old days, we couldn't even write, and we would put into song that don't go over that hill because there's the other tribe and they will kill you. Or on the left is the road to the well, but if that's dry, then you take a right there, and that's all in song to remember. Our capacity for music is way older than for writing in our brains, and this connection it makes between our audience, between the musicians. I mean, they make friendships for life. Is so inspiring to see, but also it triggers the support people want to give to a festival like this. And as a non for profit, we need this support. And I think we are very extremely grateful and lucky that we can do this on this level and keep being able to do it because people choose to donate to this cause. And because now we have this vast experience in providing this kind of education and on this high level that people trust us with their donations to do this work. And you see it. I told you about this orchestra that we have now in Powell River. But the ripple effect is amazing. It's heartwarming what music can do for a community.
So for the musicians that are, maybe stumbled across this somewhere online and are trying to plot their path forward to participating, some year, maybe you could talk to for a minute just on, what the steps would be in order to, go through the application process and be successful and being able to get to attend this some year. Maybe you could walk through that process for a minute.
Yeah, so students learn about Prisma through their universities or through our advertisements or word of mouth. And we have seen over the years that we get more and more students from the big schools like Juilliard, like Eastman, like Vienna, like Amsterdam, where, as I said, people fill in their application form. They send a movie, a film of their playing, and we have certain requirements. They need to play part of a concerto. They need to play solo work. They need to play excerpts of difficult orchestral pieces. So there are standard excerpts that are used for orchestras by orchestras to get a job in an orchestra. This is part of the process there. So they play excerpts for us, and also excerpts of the pieces we are going to play that year, and then we choose, and then we'll get back to them. Yeah, you're in, and you got a full scholarship, or you got a partial scholarship, or you got no scholarship, but you can still come. Um, you know, so that's how it works in short. It's the amount of auditions we get and the quality of them. It's quite impressive.
Well, listen, congratulations. This is a really big deal, and Verican's more than proud to participate this year, and I look forward to learning enough to make whatever point it is you need me to make while I am there next week. I'm looking forward to it. I'm always gung ho to go on stage and be made a fool of. If everybody's laughing, we can have a good time. But huge respect for your organization and the quality of the musicians that are going to be attending, and if we can play some small role in making this experience a great thing for them and for the community, it's really exciting for the whole Verican team. So, thanks guys for coming on and giving us a little bit of a taste and an update and some information. We really appreciate it. Was there anything that we haven't covered off that you were hoping to talk about while we're here today?
Yeah, well, Colin, I would like to reciprocate this thing you said, because we are grateful with your support and your financial support for this program. It means a lot for us. All these amounts help us to do this program, to grow Prisma, to get to the next level. We are definitely very ambitious, and plan to make, to grow on, to make this a huge festival, and that will take a few years, but it is growing.
I think there are definitely some parallels between what you guys both do professionally at such a high level, and I think there's certain tools that you use to make the decisions you make. I wonder if that would be, if we have a couple minutes just to unpack that a little bit. I'm thinking of a musical score, that Arthur uses to bring the notes to life off the page, and the amount of studying and looking at those scores and familiarizing, really just digesting all of that stuff. Um, and so I know what Arthur reads when he gets up in the morning, and I assume, Colin, you're reading things pertaining to your profession. You're looking at the markets and looking at reports and looking at things. And there's certain tools that you both use to inform the decisions that you make. But there's also a certain amount of trust and maybe intuition and experience that comes with making good decisions. You can have all the tools in the world, but if you don't know how to use them, you're not going to you're not going to have a good financial outcome, or you're not going to have a good sounding concert, or a musical ensemble that's performing to its highest level. So I would love to ping pong a couple things back and forth with you guys to see, really, I think there's a lot in common, between doing something that's fairly high stakes. Sometimes it's fairly, you're managing other people's experiences as well, right? Colin, you're dealing with uh, clients who trust you, and Arthur's dealing with audiences who trust him and who trust Prisma, and doing the best for them. And you have to put a certain amount of trust in each other, and I just think that's really interesting. I wonder if there's more, because I just have a sort of a bird's eye perspective on what you both do without knowing nearly as much about what you both do as you each do. I'm wondering if there's something there you can share and add and talk about, because I think that would be really interesting for people to hear and to chew on.
Well, I can kick it off, Arthur, and you can take it where you want to take it. I would say that anybody I have ever witnessed, a couple of things. Anybody that gets to the top of their field and becomes an expert in something has a level of curiosity. They have an interest in how things are, why they are, and it's almost insatiable. Like the more curious you are, the more roads you travel down, the more you can learn. And that curiosity and thoughtful curiosity and learning how the world works and operates around you, you get one day you wake up and you have a perspective that's different because you have experienced more and you understand more, and then you bring back that perspective, and then the final leg or the final part of the journey is, can I turn this into a way that I can communicate it to people who don't have this perspective? Can I take what I've learned in my journey and curiosities of figuring how things work? Can I take all of that learning and then can I communicate it? So there's kind of three different, for me, rings that people pass through. And Arthur, I'd love to hear your thoughts as to whether you think that that translates or that describes the musical journey.
Yeah, that's great analysis. And curiosity, of course, is one of the main ingredients to even open a score and start to understand what the composer did and why he did it, if you ever can find that answer of the why. But it's interesting. Of course, we make music for our audiences, but we also make music for ourselves. We have to. I cannot live without music. I have to do it. In the pandemic, for example, I would go to the vaccination clinic to play cello because I had to make music for people. And it proved there and then that people needed that music equally badly
Yeah,
and wouldn't leave the vaccination clinic. We had to kick them out for the new groups who arrive.
yeah,
So this is a strong need for us as human beings. And I would say we have the audience to play for, but as musicians, we also need to trust as conductors from our orchestra. We have to build this relationship with them, with all these individual musicians that are so incredibly good in what they are doing. And now me as a conductor, have to tell them how to play a certain passage. Because if everybody does it in their own way and they all will do it very well, but it won't be a uniform thing.
Yeah.
So to work on that balance, it's like your portfolio. You probably don't want to have 20% of one type of stock in a portfolio, and you want to balance it. As with an orchestra, we always have to balance the sound, the score. How do you not cover certain melodies in the orchestra? Good composers. I'm looking right literally here in front of me is this score of Mahler, and he does such interesting things in the orchestration. So if you want to look at the score as your portfolio, you in this case you have five flutes and five oboes, five clarinets, five bassoons. It's huge. Eight horns and five trumpets, four trombones, tuba, a big percussion section, including timpani, and then this whole string section. So this, all these people, those 84 people on stage, needs to be balanced so that the whole product is something that will come to life in the way that you can actually beautifully hear the piece without things being covered, melodies being covered, certain things making, you know, this is, and then how do you do the phrasing? How do you do the shaping? How do you time it? We have so many choices, tempo, but also how to stretch a sentence, a musical sentence. So, I mean, that's balancing. It's a balancing act the whole time in the
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah, and there's a level of understanding on any complex topic that it goes from being mechanical to being art. So at a certain, you can calculate things to a certain point, but after you finish all the calculations, there's a limitation to that. And then how do you artfully balance things? And that absolutely applies to the financial world. There's a bunch of stuff we can calculate, but the future is unknown. So there is an art form of getting that balance that resonates just properly in a given situation that helps all of the stakeholders. And I think when it comes to music, for sure, if you're not making genuine music for yourself, then the audience is going to struggle to enjoy it.
Hmm.
So that understanding that you're satisfying something within yourself in front of other people, and then it hitting that note where everybody is enjoying it in their own way from their own perspective. That's all a perspective thing, and that is all about all that time you spent curious about all those different attributes you just spoke of, like your curiosity about all those different tempos and all of those different instruments, all that you accumulated over your lifetime, that you can bring together in a room in a cohesive way and then deliver on that big stage, all those little pieces. But I can't undersell how curious I've been over my lifetime, and the people that I've met who I've got the most respect for, how curious they have been their whole life, and how curious they remain, because it's all of those little learnings along the way that allow you to have the perspective to get on the big stage and pull it all together in a way that satisfies all of the stakeholders that are present for something like that.
Yes, and then there's another thing I think which will count for both of us is in the moment. What happens in the moment? You have to react. You have to deal with it. Like a company might go bankrupt, or a company might make weird decisions, or fire a CEO, or whatever, and there's results in the financial market. And we have during a concert, things will happen. It's live music. Somebody will make a mistake, or the instrument won't respond. How do you deal with it? What do you do? In the moment, react so that the stuff doesn't fall apart.
Yeah.
And you have to be quick and on the ball. And that's probably exactly same thing for you. How do you deal with surprise?
Well, there's this old military expression being from Halifax, which is a naval town. Everybody has a plan till they get punched in the mouth, or everybody has a plan until you encounter the enemy. And then you walk on stage, you have a plan right up until something doesn't work, and now you need a new plan. So, again, being able to adapt to all those various things is it's a high level skill that develops over time. And I suspect you probably have stood in front of many rooms where things didn't go exactly according to plan that you learned from. So when something doesn't go to plan now, you probably have more of a depth of experience on how to bring it back, or how to save the day, if you will.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah. Interesting question, Andy, that you put there.
I thought it would be interesting for you guys to answer. That's why I wanted to bring the two of you together. I thought it was fascinating to kind of hear those perspectives come together on something like that for sure. So thanks for diving into that for me, guys.
Great.
I just want to make sure we manage expectations. This conversation in no way, shape, or form is going to improve my performance on the 18th. This is all this is completely not going to help me. So I'm going to flounder on stage appropriately in a way, hopefully, that is found to be instructive and inspiring for
Great.
the young conductors in the room.
Yeah.
All right, so big finish to record here. Thank you guys for coming out. It's wonderful. Can't wait to take part and see this wonderful event close up, and encourage anybody who's listening to either apply to try to get on stage next year, or if you're close enough to Powell River, come on out and have a look, because it's going to be a spectacle to behold.
Have you ever wondered why your financial advisor is making a recommendation? In an industry where conflicts of interest are everywhere, it's important to understand how they affect you. For more info, contact us at Verican. You can find us at annoyingthecompetition.com. For more information on the subject of today's podcast or any other financial topic, please visit us online at verican.com. That's VERECAN.com. There's plenty of information there, or you can reach out to someone on the team. Thanks for listening. Please note, the information provided in this podcast is for general information purposes only. It is not intended as financial, investment, legal, tax, accounting, or other professional advice. Our discussions are not a solicitation to buy or sell any securities or to make any specific investments. Any decisions, based on information contained in this podcast, are the sole responsibility of the listener. We strongly advise consulting with a professional financial advisor before making any financial decisions. Listeners should be aware that investing involves risks and that past performance is not indicative of future results. Barenaked Money is produced by Verican Capital Management Inc., a licensed portfolio management company in Canada. We operate under the regulatory framework established by the provincial securities commissions in the provinces within which we operate. The views expressed in the podcast are our own and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of any regulatory authority. Remember, at Verican Capital Management Inc., we focus on aligning our goals with yours, prioritizing integrity and transparency. For more information about us and our services, please visit our website. Thank you for listening, and let's continue to challenge the norms of the financial services industry together.